The Institute Study of War have analyzed the situation on the front line, learned the results. Another topic, peace for Ukraine or peace off Ukraine. Trump's supposed fast peace deal for Ukraine, is that possible after all? And an interview with former Ukrainian Secret Service officer Ivan Stupak in an interview with us. Good afternoon, these topics in more detail. My name is Henry Keane and we are UATV English, bringing you the hard truth in easy terms for you, the whole free world, directly from Ukraine. Whoever talks about peace, what Russia is doing, continuing to demonstrate that the Kremlin aims to seize more territory in Ukraine than it currently occupies and is unwilling to accept compromises or engage in good faith negotiations, no matter who mediates such talks. Russian Foreign Intelligence Service Director Comrade Sergei Naryshkin claimed on November 26 that Russia is open to negotiations, but categorically rejects any freezing of the current front line or the creation of any demilitarized zone. Comrade Naryshkin alleged that the elimination of the reasons that caused Russia to launch its full-scale invasion of Ukraine is the only way to ensure peace, demonstrating that Russia continues to uncompromisingly demand Ukraine's full capitulation, and the Kremlin has repeatedly demanded that Ukraine relinquish areas of the 4 Ukrainian oblasts that the Kremlin has illegally annexed, and that Russian forces do not currently occupy, by the way. The Institute Study of War also recently forecasted that the Russian military command is planning how to advance into the southeasternmost parts of Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, notably not one of the 4 illegally annexed oblasts, in support of Russia's long-standing objective to seize all of Donetsk Oblast. Russian military's rates of advance since fall 2024 has notably increased recently compared to its rate of advance in 2023 and the rest of 2024, but recent Western media reports comparing recent Russian gains to those at the start of Russian full-scale invasion continue to mischaracterize the gradual and tactical nature of Russia's recent advances. The Institute Study of War assesses that Russian forces have gained 574 square kilometers since November 1st, 2024, an average rate of 22 square kilometers per day. This is remarkably less than the 1,265 square kilometers per day that Institute Study of War assesses Russian forces were gaining in March 2022. Could it be because the attackers are talking to Russia instead of again and again and again failing appeasement efforts? U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby confirmed Ukraine's usage of U.S.-provided ATACMS against Russia amid official Russian confirmation of recent Ukraine's ATACMS strikes. Kirby stated on November 25th that the Ukrainian forces are able to use ATACMS to, I quote, defend themselves, and that Ukrainian forces are already using them in and around Kursk Oblast. Kirby's statement is the first official confirmation that U.S. authorized Ukrainian forces to use ATACMS to strike military objects in Russia, in case anyone still mumblings something about escalation and other rubbish and wonders why we need ATACMS in Ukraine. Here is why. Russian forces launched a record number of drones against Ukraine on the night of November 25 to 26, as Russia continued to increase their use of decoy drones and long-range strike packages targeting Ukrainian energy infrastructure. In order to, obviously, overwhelm Ukrainian air defense systems, the Ukrainian Air Force reported that Russian forces launched 4 Iskander-M ballistic missiles and 188 Shahed drones and other unspecified drones at us in Ukraine. So in easy terms, all peace deals brokered in fact sound like that. While the world is talking, Putin is walking our Ukrainian land. So maybe it is indeed time for the world to unite and act, finally. And somewhat continuing the previous topic and citing Politico, former Ukraine Foreign Minister Kuleba has no hope that the US President-elect Donald Trump can broker a peace deal. In a wide-ranging and quite pessimistic interview with Politico, Kuleba insisted that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin was in no mood to strike a deal and said Trump instead risked collapsing Ukrainian front lines if the new US administration staff Kiev of weapons.
Putin still believes he can snuff out Ukrainian statehood and crush Ukraine as an independent democracy, and he thinks he's one step away from exposing the West as weak. Ukraine is a personal obsession for Putin, but crushing Ukraine is also a means to accomplish his grand goal: to show the world how the West is incapable of defending itself or what it stands for. Dmytro Kuleba, former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine.
Kuleba also questioned the resolve of Ukraine's Western partners, particularly Germany, which waits early elections, and noted that while Russia has managed to find allies such as North Korea to send troops in Ukraine, Kiev's allies have been inconsistent and unreliable on arms support. And we as Ukrainian media maybe have to take the responsibility for that just as well, as it is our fault that half of the American nation repeats the as stupid as it is false Russian propagandistic narrative that the US spends too much money for Ukraine. This is all lies. All these billions in military actually do exist only on paper, with not more than 20% actually released in favor of Ukraine. Proof? Firstly, if otherwise, with all the money and all the weapons promised, Ukrainian armed forces would have been in Moscow by now. And secondly, all of the American aid, 90% of it, is specifically aimed at purchasing American weapons. It has been carved in stone between the United States and Ukraine, so all of the money paid by American taxpayers is reinvested back into America. Moreover, this money were borrowed by Ukraine. It is no joke, it is not for free. Ukraine borrows the aid. What do you call a deal when you lend money to someone who not only has to invest it into your homeland business, but then pay an interest on it and return it? So be sure all these billions are not spent in vain in Ukraine, but it is literally without any shadow of a doubt a best deal ever done by America, at least by that parts of America that have mastered the basics of arithmetics. And those actually understanding the real danger of Soviet Russia spreading its post-communist disease in Europe now are doing their best to explain it to these who have not mastered it, what and who Ukraine is fighting for.
Is this: Ukraine is fighting for us. It's not just fighting for itself, it's fighting for us, because what we've said from the start, and the reason so many countries are involved in Ukraine's defense, is because the aggression being committed by Russia is not only an aggression against Ukraine and its people, it's an aggression against the very principles that are at the heart of the international system and that are necessary for trying to maintain peace and stability. The notions that are at the heart of the United Nations Charter: sovereignty, independence, territorial integrity. And we know, and these more than 50 countries supporting Ukraine know, that if we let this go with impunity in one place, the message to would-be aggressors anywhere and everywhere is that it's open season. And that's a recipe for a world of conflict. And that's not a world that's in the interest of the United States or anyone else. So standing with, standing for Ukraine is, I believe, an important national interest. And that national interest is in making sure that we don't have a world of conflict, that we uphold international law. We uphold the system that is our best way of guaranteeing that there won't be war and that we can maintain peace and stability.
Well, amen to that, and nothing to add here, actually. Well, maybe just one thing. Learn arithmetics. Ivan Stupak, former Ukrainian Secret Service officer, is with us tonight. Hello, Ivan.
Hi, glad to be with you.
It is a pleasure indeed. Very simple and very hard question, actually. How are we, Ukraine is doing on the front line these days?
In a nutshell, the situation is really tough for Ukraine because for last months we started losing much territories as we did before. And indeed, it's true, unfortunately for us. It's a very unpleasant situation for us. But Ukrainian soldiers are holding on as much as it's possible and trying to do as much harm for Russian Federation as it even possible. But as we start discussing our topic about situation on the front, let's start with Kursk region. Kursk region, the territory which is under control of Ukrainian armed forces, significantly decreased for last period, and on the for right now the total amount of territories is under Ukrainian control is about 550 square kilometers, so it's significantly reduced the territory. And as we're talking about the city of Kurakhova, the situation is really, really very tough. And as for me, from my point, maybe in next days, maybe weeks, we have to withdraw from the city because the Russian rolling advance is ongoing, and the tension is increasing, and we have to leave this city. The same situation is almost the same situation is about the city of Toretsk, a bit more less tension on the city of Kupiansk, and maybe that's all.
Okay, well, I talk to experts. I also see what so-called experts in Russia say. What I always admire with America, with Ukrainian people, and with Ukrainian experts, is even when the situation is tough and news are not good, they still are news. They deliver the actual situation on the front, saying we are yielding territories and we need help. And this is what is going on everywhere. We're not lying. I mean, these people are not lying, which is not the case for Moscow, of course. But let me ask you a question. If more attack comes, if more storm shadows that are coming now, we know, will it change the situation on the front line to the better?
It's a tricky question. Okay,
Right, it is.
Now, currently, we are talking about not so much amount of missile attacks or storm shadow provided to Ukraine from United Kingdom or United States. It could be counted in dozens, so not hundreds, not even thousands, but tens. For last time, as we know from mass media, United States supplied Ukraine with about 50 missiles ATACMS, and about approximate number, the average, the same number, with Storm Shadow missiles. In order to change situation, from my point, we have to be provided with maybe at least hundreds of missiles per month, hundreds, not dozens. Of course, we are very appreciative for this transfer, for this munition, for these supplies, but it can change nothing. I mean, in global scale. Okay, it could help us for example, in Kursk region. Okay, we could destroy some more warehouses, storages, different headquarters, but we can't change situation in global scale.
Well, let me ask you the last question for tonight. Only 4 questions. Well, there are a lot of them, but we don't have we're tight on the schedule. Billions in American aid are to be invested in American weapons, and given as a credit, we borrow the money. Ukraine borrows that money, takes it as a credit. So it is literally best deal ever for America to deliver the aid because it's going to boost up the American market. Am I right or am I wrong somewhere? Maybe
you are totally right. You are totally right. Look, we've got here the situation named win-win. So United States will borrow our money, and we will get money this back in nearest future. And United States taxpayers will meet with their monies, as I told, in the nearest future. We are not asking to provide us money free of charge. We are asking money for some period of time. It's a great difference.
It is indeed a great difference. So the reason that I ask this question is because I know a lot of people in America and in the media, quite famous and known media in the, worldwide, and these are people are really don't understand that money are invested back in America. So really, oh, we didn't know that. How can we, the Ukrainian media, be sitting here and not actually informing people in America if we do somehow talk English? Why don't we do it? This is a question to me, myself, and to my colleagues. But we certainly, for 3 years in a row, should have done it. Well, UATV tried it, and in some sort we succeeded. But now, Trump comes to power. It is a fact.
Yeah.
If military aid is cut, will Europe step up, you think?
No, but the possibilities of European Union armed production is very limited. We have to understand. We have to admit it. Nothing could be replaced. From United States. United States supplies is incredible. It's significant for Ukraine. And to be honest with you, I don't believe that Mr. Trump will cut supplying Ukraine with munition just for one signature signing. One act, presidential act, because from my point, I think that the United States weaponry lobby is quite huge, and they would like to stay on a first position, on the top of the board, according to CIPRI, Stockholm Institute for Peace. Stockholm Institute Peace Research. According to the latest research, the United States share of the global weaponry market is about 46%. So I do believe they would like to stay at least on the same position and to increase it in the nearest future.
Absolutely, Ivan. I mean, I'm with you, and I agree. I know people, again, in Europe and in America, and they say that Trump, whatever he says, he actually acts in favor of big business. And this is exactly the moment in time where Ukraine's interest of survival coincides with weapon lobby in America. Absolutely, like 300%. So let's hope that it will be taken into consideration, and President-elect, when he will become a president of the United States, will actually not cut any military aid for Ukraine, actually, whatever he's planning to do now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, and we surely talk very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ivan Stupak, a former Ukrainian Secret Service officer, was with us. We said hello for this very interesting conversation. Thank you. Well, that will be all, folks. My name is Henry Keane, and we are UATV English team doing our best to deliver hard truth in easy terms for the whole free world, for you, directly from Ukraine. Please don't be shy. Like, share, and comment. Your voice matters indeed, as it helps Ukrainian voice to be heard globally. Stay safe and tune for more already tomorrow. Goodbye.